Alright, so I want to know who all knows anything about these Aquatherm closed system wood boilers. Because I've had this for 5 or 6 years or so, and I had to learn everything on it by myself. Nobody could show me anything. There's no videos. I think there's one video, maybe two, out there that briefly show anything about this system. They don't tell you specs on the blower size or anything. And I mean, I've had so much stuff replaced that I had to figure out, replace. Blower is not the original blower because I don't know where they're at. At the time when it went out, I got what I could grab. But it's in the back, underneath, because it blows underneath the wood, which you'd think would be good. But the problem with that is when it cooks, it's burning, it burns up through the middle. And when you got your wood piled up, well, it burns up through, and then the coals down below will burn out before that wood up top gets to collapse into place. And it doesn't funnel in from the sides or nothing because it's burned directly up through the middle. So, I don't know. It's okay with 100% cured, dried wood, but if there's anything punky in it, anything slightly green, it will not burn. It does not like it. Right now, I have it at about 10 psi because it's leaking, it's dropping. I usually keep it about 15. 10 to 15, somewhere around in there when I pressurize it, but we have so much air in our spigot hose, it's just, there's a problem with that too. But once you get air in the system, it'll funnel out through the valves in the back, and it'll drop, so then you gotta fill it back up with water and not air, and then you'll be fine. But she's a much bigger burn box. I shouldn't need this size of a burn box, you know. I mean, it's a 4 foot by 40 inches, 30 inches. But I mean, I just have this wood in here wrapped around because I'm just drying it all out. This wood is all freaking sitting in the snow. But handle, absolute trash. I hate that thing. When you push down here, if you push too hard, which is just, you know, just kind of shove it down there, that's good. You still gotta smack it to pop it up. But then you're banging your hands all in here, and it's just irritating. What I've seen on some other stoves is they have a handle right here. They have a screw that's drilled through, and they just have a wooden handle that you can smack and pop it up off of this setup. But the Aquatherms didn't come with that. So, right there, you know. So, but I do like the auger. That's nice, except for it does when it does like a creosote burnout. Creosote gets down in there and jams up the auger. So there's no burning pallet wood or anything that might have staples or nails in it because it'll jam up the auger. All those grates, there's 3 or 4 sections of grates in there, and when it burns into ash, it's supposed to fall through those grates. Well, it doesn't work like that. So, or not all the time anyway. When it burns, turns to ash, it piles up. And so you got to get a raker to rake it through because it'll put the fire out. Because if fire's burning here, well, that all clogged up with ashes. Now the air's only coming over here. Well, the fire's not even over there. There's no wood all the way up front, you know. The wood's all in the back. So when it clogs up back there, it's pushing air up here. So the fire back here is just staying smoldering because it's just so far away from the oxygen. You know, the actual moving air part. So I always wanted it blown up through the fire or up through the bottom, but after utilizing the system, you got to play with the wood so much. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's our wood up here in northern Michigan, but you know, I use hardwood. I use beech, maple. I'll mix some pine in there if I'm cutting some trees down and open up the yard or whatever, but it's mostly all hardwood that I use. And as the grates get clogged, the airflow gets moved all over inside the firebox, and you got to play with it. You know, so like right now, directly in the middle, and that's where it likes to be for the most part. But if that spot builds up, it all of a sudden starts blowing up here, and there's no coals up here, so that will just sit there and smolder, and I'll get a bunch of smoke out the chimney. So, but for the most part, it likes to be in the middle. That's the most airflow most of the time. But yeah, this wet stuff I gotta set it aside and let it dry, you know. But right now I'm only doing that. I wouldn't normally do that. It would be ready to go stuff, but I'm just keeping this up to temp a bit so I can get the new stove put in. Smaller, hopefully more efficient. I've never heard of it, but I'm gonna get going on it, see what I can do. But get the house back up to temp and stuff from all this little wood, and then get the pipes fitted, or all the fittings for this new stove ready to go, get all the stuff I need, get ready to unhook this. But when I do unhook this, I have the option. I'm going to switch the house over to propane heat, which is just some wires on my thermostat. Switch those over, let the house run off of the propane while I'm swapping out this giant. I mean, it's only 4 inches above me, and then it sits all the way up above me. It's like 6 feet tall. It's a massive tank. So I don't know how much water it uses, because I've always just filled it to the pressure. I don't know technically how you should fill them. So, you know, so I'll make a video on the thermostat so you can see how I switch that over. Make a new video on swapping those parts over. And this tank, I don't know what I'm going to do with. I think I'm just going to shove it out of the way and see if I can figure out a way to fix it, why it's leaking air or leaking water somewhere. I don't know if it's in the firebox and it's just disappearing, you know, burn it up. I don't see any wet spots in there. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what's going on. It's just every day I have to come out here and throw 3 gallons in it, because it's on 0 psi, and that popping 3-4 gallons in it will jump it up to about 15 psi, and I'm stretching it because I'll jump it up to 20 just because I know it's going to leak, and it does. So, but this stove I can run with this PEX. It says I can run 200 degrees at 80 psi. Well, that's what the PEX is rated for, the orange PEX. I don't know the exact name of it. It's just an oxygen barrier PEX. I have never ran it anywhere close to 80 psi. The highest I've ever run this was 25 psi, and it started coming out the bleeder valve back there, or the pressure relief valve, I guess. And then it went down to about 15 psi, which is what I've heard that you should run them systems to, but I don't know anybody with them. That's just what I heard online to a guy that didn't own one. So I guess he just did repairs on wood stoves. So that's what I've been running at. And I know if it gets below 10 psi, it doesn't really pump into the house anymore. So 10 to 15 psi is where I've been using it. Anything above that, it goes out the pressure relief valve, so I figured that's the sweet spot. So I'm assuming he's right. But I'll get going on some more videos and more updates on removing the big beastly Aquatherm to the little free heat machine Then it's a 75. I don't know what that means, but we'll get it all figured out.